Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Crystal Zero Experience with online rules. Now remember, optional fights are banned, so for spinners like this, I save, then wait until they're facing up, left, or down, right. Because apparently, spinners have what are called paired directions. Up and left are a pair, as are down and right. So if this guy is facing down, he's more likely to turn to the right than he is to any other direction. Of course, they can still pick an unpaired direction, and they're also really fast, so I still safety save before every attempt. Now, there's gonna be some dead air this episode, so now's as good as any time to talk about my general approach. In many ways, I routed it as though it were a speed run. Whitney, for example. There's a whole team of 6 Pokemon I could assemble just for her that would guarantee victory. Oh, and the entire strat for this fight is tackle with Pidgey on all of them. Anyways, for Whitney, I could get Butterfree from National Park, get Pineco from a tree, Machop from an Abra trade, and a Ghastly and a Wobbuffet from the casino for 1,500 coins. From there, I could Stun Spore, Clefairy, Confusion till Butterfree dies, do some damage with Machop, finish it off with a Self-Destruct from Pineco, and that'd definitely beat Clefairy. Then for Meltank, I would bring out Ghastly, who'd force a rollout, and then I'd finish with the Wobbuffet, who'd lead with Destiny Bond, then counter to guarantee the Meltank's down, even if it crits, and yada 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 yada. Now, in case you couldn't tell, assembling that entire team and putting that whole strategy to use would be hideously slow. On almost none of those Pokemon I would assemble would actually have use after Whitney. So yeah, the strat you'll actually see is significantly less complicated and time-consuming, but also a bit more prone to failure. Anyway, the Bellsprouts start coming with growth, so if they use that on turn 1, they could actually kill some of my birds. So I send Rattata on ahead to Tail Whip, and then, if they growth, I'll have Ghastly sleep them, or at least try until it dies, and then send out one of the birds and tackle it. And if they choose not to growth, then no Ghastly needed, just a free butt kicking with my Pidgey. Oh, and in case you're wondering, no, a level 3 Rattata would not outspeed. So if I'd caught such a Rattata and it was hurt last fight, I'd lead with Ghastly instead. It'd get some licks in before it got into death range, then I'd swap in to Rattata until it died, and then finish it off with a bird. And we want both of those birds going into the last fight, because that guy is quite a bit tougher than the others. But wait, you ask, wouldn't that mean a lot of free turns for Bellsprout to growth? Well, fortunately, the AI is only likely to use a stat up or down move if your Mon is taking its first turn and hasn't done an action yet. So once Ghastly attacks that first time, the Bellsprout will almost never use a second growth. Anyway, here is probably the toughest match of today's episode. Sage Lee, with 2 higher level Bellsprouts and a level 10 Hoothoot. But yeah, the way to go is to get a ton of Leers on the first Bellsprout with our Totodile, and then we use Hoothoot over Pidgey because of its higher special defense, and tackle it down. Now for his Hoothoot, we need Onix to land 3 Screeches before tackling it down. Yes, I realize I specifically said that defense drops lowered in value after the first one, but it's a little different when it's a move that lowers a stat by 2 stages instead of just 1. That often has enough value to warrant at least 2 uses. This is especially true for Onix, who lacks stab. So anyway, Onix is dead now, might as well get one last Screech off. Then we can mop up with our fresh Pidgey, our most potent attacker, other than our Totodile. Now conveniently, that item in the upper right is an escape rope, so we can get out of here immediately after teaching Flash to Hoothoot, so we don't lose time not having dig. Also fun fact, my first test run, of 2, had me saving this place until right before the radio tower plot, after I had already gotten Fly and Dig. That was back when I allowed multiple of the same Mon in my team. With that allowance, I would make my rival pick Cyndaquil, then handily beat Rival 2's Quilava with multiple Goldines. Anyway, Onix is in the lead for Falkner's Min. Those Mons are physical attackers with the same level advantage Lee had, so we want that rock resistance. And for this one specifically, we want to get 2 Screeches on that Spearow. It's not bulky enough to require the full 3 that the level 10 Hoothoot did, but it's bulky enough for 2. Yes, this fight and the next were carefully tested to see what would take the least amount of turns overall. Which is why I'll only use 1 Screech for these level 7 Pidgeys. Screech plus 4 tackles takes just as many turns as 2 Screeches plus 3 tackles, and it has more of an allowance for lucky crits. Now here I take a slight risk. I keep using Onix till it's at 1 HP instead of switching to Ghastly at 2 HP. There was a chance they could have slain Onix there. Anyway, the play here is to sleep this, then use Totodile to finish it, as it has the highest overall damage in my party. I could have just went straight to Totodile and probably have been fine, but Pidgey hits hard enough that an unlucky crit would have slain. Anyway, we'll use as many potions as needed to heal up, then give berries to Onix, Hoothoot, Pidgey, and Totodile. Onix will be the one defeating Pidgeotto. Hoothoot and Pidgey want to get as many growls and sand attacks on it as possible, and Totodile is going to be the one to defeat Falkner's own Pidgey. So anyways, here's my team at the end of this episode. Have a lovely day everyone, and God bless y'all! Tune in next time for Falkner.